we think cryptocurrencies in their current format, meaning in the current incarnation, are in a bubble. We actually have a couple of very interesting exhibits in our report, and the report's available for any of your viewers who would like to see it on the Goldman Sachs website. And we show the returns of cryptocurrencies against other asset classes that have been in bubble territory. So for example, we compare it to the TOPIX in 1990. We compare it to the NASDAQ in 2000. And what you can see is that basically these other big bubbles that we've had look like a flat line, even compared to tulip bulb prices, tulip mania in the 1600s, which was a bubble. We always talk about tulip mania. The Bitcoin prices are astronomical. Then we compare that to Ether, and Ether is even more astronomical. So clearly these valuations don't make sense to us. In addition, we think that these currencies have major shortcomings. Is there room for a digital currency, maybe sponsored by one of the major central banks like the Federal Reserve? Yes. Could it be incredibly useful? Could it reduce transaction costs? Yes, but not these ones.
Bitcoin was a fraud.
Yeah.
Why is Bitcoin a fraud?
Yeah. So separate blockchain, which is a technology, from Bitcoin, the currency. And now there are multiple currencies, and so I'm talking about not Bitcoin per se. I'm talking about currencies. It's I did refer to it as like the tulip bulb crisis of the 1700s, whatever. But here's the reason: governments, the first thing they do is form a currency. They like to control the currency. They control it through a central bank. They also like to know who has it, where it is, where it's going. Okay, and you just saw China just is closing down the Bitcoin exchanges. And what all I ever said is that at Bitcoin, the bigger these things get, the more governments, right now, they look at it as a novelty. You know, they love in Washington, talk about, oh, this is technology, we love technology. Wait until someone gets hurt. Wait until it's used for illicit purposes, which it is somewhat used for illicit purposes. They close it down. I don't personally understand the value of something that has no actual value. You all can do whatever you want, and I don't care. Okay?
All right. That sounds definitive. Bitcoin hit a new high today.
I could care less what Bitcoin trades for, how it trades, why it trades, who trades it. If you're stupid enough to buy it, you'll pay the price for it one day. Non-stop Bitcoin. Who cares about Bitcoin? I mean, you know, the world economy is so big. We move, JP Morgan alone, these companies, $6 trillion. We move all this money, and Bitcoin in total is 50, all these currencies are $50 billion, maybe $1 billion trades a day. The only value of a Bitcoin is what the other guy will pay for it. And I quite mean that, by the way. You know, these people are very good at manipulating the press these days and getting news out. And so there is a use case for Bitcoin. If you live in Venezuela, North Korea, or if you're a criminal, great product. But this is the last time I'm ever going to answer a question about Bitcoin because I really don't care.
I guess the reason I use the word safe is for my next question on gold, up 2.5% for the first quarter. I know in the past you've seen it as a speculative bet. How do you see it today?
I hate gold. Gold is a religion. There's some fundamental value to gold, but everything else, it's a collectible. I see gold and Bitcoin as being the same thing.
Well, hate is a strong word.
Okay.
So the miners too, all of gold, the whole gold spectrum.
Individually as people, I've heard they're great people. But as an investment, okay, you're right. Hate is not strong enough. Hate with extreme prejudice as an investment.
Oh gosh. Okay, so Bitcoin and gold on the same level for you.
They're both collectibles.
Okay.
So it's going to be very difficult for it to be a currency when the time and the expense of doing a transaction is 100 times what you can do over Visa or MasterCard. Right. So that's another issue. So then what is Bitcoin, Ethereum? What's their intrinsic value? It's a collectible.
It's just a digital asset that's a
It's a collectible.
Can we talk about basically where you have skin in the game, what you're kind of betting on, right? And we don't have to get into specific projects, but I want to know like what layers, like Bitcoin, for instance. Is that we talked about that earlier. Is that something you like?
Yeah, I've owned a bunch of Bitcoin for a long time, right? Despite what people think, right? People would send it to me when it wasn't worth much, trying to convince me, and I kept it. You know, I bought some along the way and I've kept it. I've never sold one Bitcoin or a fraction of a Bitcoin. You know, same with Ethereum. And I got a bunch of shit coins, that some of which I thought were shit coins that now are turning into real value because everything's trading up. And I bought some more along the way.
It is a useless currency. It is a useless currency. That's what I believe. I mean, look, I realize people have different opinions, but to me, it's garbage. You know, I know Mark quite well. He also was quoted saying he thinks bananas are a bigger common currency, and he's probably right. I want to go to Pomp's issue about this idea that you're protecting your capital buying Bitcoin. There is no evidence that it has a reverse correlation to correcting markets. Last March, if you owned Bitcoin, you got slaughtered, and you had a lot more volatility than the S&P. My whole point is there's a lot of interesting ideas here, and certainly the fact that a Bitcoin, all the other ones haven't worked, but Bitcoin has. This concept of a digital currency is one that would work, and my whole point is, for all of us, including you, Scott, who monitor and work within the financial services multi-trillion-dollar global industry, is this a nothing burger? It's not even a single cell amoeba. If you took all of the market cap of Bitcoin, totally irrelevant. I love to talk about it. You know, it's fun to watch it go up and down. But during the day when the bell rings, I don't talk to anybody that's worried about this. They do not put capital to work in Bitcoin. Maybe it's fun if you're an individual high net worth person that wants to just play with it. But the financial markets deal with regulators, and you can only operate within the confines of those rules. And so when we glorify something like this, it really has nothing to do with the financial markets that make the whole world work. And no institutional or sovereign fund investor I've ever talked to has said to me, go index all of the cryptocurrencies for me. And the reason they don't want to own that is they fear the regulator. And watch what happens one day. And I'm waiting for this one. I'm waiting for the day that one of these regulators comes down hard on Bitcoin. Grown men are going to weep when that happens. Well, you'll never see a loss of capital like that ever in your life. It'll be brutal. Because I have actually owned crypto since 2017. Ethereum and Bitcoin.
You know, so I respect that, and I'm sure a lot of people do. So talk of 100,000 Bitcoin to you doesn't sound so crazy anymore?
No. The mathematics involved here, the whole idea of mining the coin, the difference between this and proof of stake, all of these things that are, you know, Ethereum versus Bitcoin, which I also own some of. The other area of interest to me is I formed a team in my organization to look at this. I'm interested in actually interest yield using DAI, using USA, you know, against a Bitcoin loan. There's all kinds of different strategies. But the core of holding is going to be, I look at Bitcoin and say to myself, that is going to be the US dollar of cryptos. It has established itself all around the world. It's the largest market cap. It's just under $1 trillion. It'll always be the leader in my view. It'll take another 100 years to mine the last coin, long past when I'm going to be around. And so during that period, I think it will have tremendous volatility. And at the point in when, let me give you an example. If it became, let's say, I don't know, 20 trillion of value, okay, which you would be basically very, very stable in my view, because you would be being held by people and institutions that are holding it for, again, you know, a hedge against inflation or just storage of value.